Okay, so it started with a $5 tip on Telegram, and it ended with me questioning if we even need banks anymore. So check this out. The other night, I was chatting with a buddy on Telegram, and I tried something kind of crazy. I sent him money through the chat, like I was sending a sticker, and guess what? It worked instantly. Now, he had no idea it was actually coming. He thought I was just sending him a funny GIF or some random emoji, but no. I sent him actual digital cash and it landed in his Telegram app within seconds. Now, how was that even possible? Well, Telegram, the chat app that we all use for memes and group chats, quietly rolled out support for a cryptocurrency called Stellar. Its token is known as XLM. Now, over 100 million people, including my friend and me, basically woke up to a new feature. We can send XLM to each other right inside our chats. Now, to do this, obviously, I needed some XLM in my Telegram wallet first. So earlier that day, I went and bought a little XLM on an exchange. Now, in my case, I used Blowfin. It's an affiliate link, there's an affiliate link that supports the channel down in the description down below if you trade and sign up and trade via it, right? So, if you do that, I really do appreciate it. Now, since it's one of my go-to exchanges, of course. Now, I also have a BitGet account, and I also have an affiliate link for that one that also supports the channel, right? I sometimes use that one for a lot of other different cryptocurrencies. Now, it's use whatever kind of crypto exchange that you're comfortable with, of course, but I just thought I would mention it for transparency. Anyway, once I had some XLM, I transferred it into my Telegram wallet. Now, setting up a Telegram crypto wallet was surprisingly easy. It's basically a bot built into the app, and within minutes I had it ready to send and receive cryptocurrency. Fast forward back to the chat with my friend then. I ping him and I say, hey, mind if I test something with you, I say. And before he can even reply, I send over about $5 worth of XLM. On my end, it just felt like I was sending a sticker or attaching a photo. It was just that simple. On his end, he gets an alert from the Telegram wallet saying that he just received XLM. My friend goes, did you just pay me? That was fast. And I'm sitting there grinning like, yeah, it was fast. It felt like I had discovered a cheat code for money transfers, right? And here's the kicker. Moving that money cost me practically nothing, maybe even a fraction of a cent in network fees. That's basically free. Now, if I had tried to send $5 through a bank or a service like Western Union, I'd probably pay more than that just in the fees. So let's think about it. A lot of money transfers services, they charge what, 5% or more, even if it's $1 on a $5 transfer, right? Now, that's 20% gone, right? Now, this Telegram method charged me, I don't know, let's say 0.0001, right? So it's a fraction of a cent, right? You can't even buy a piece of gum with how little that is. Now, as my friend and I are kind of marveling at this, it starts to kind of hit me. This isn't just a cool trick to send money to a buddy. This actually could be a rather big deal for a lot of people, right? So many wheels, started turning and started spinning in my head. For example, right, I have a friend who is from Kenya who moved to the US and sends money back, home to his mum every single month. Usually, he just uses a remittance services that kind of takes a cut, something and like 5%. Sometimes it's even more, and it takes a few days. Right now, when I told him that I sent money via Telegram and it arrived in seconds, his eyes went wide. Now, the idea that he could send money home as casually as sending a text message and with practically no fees, it blew his mind, and mine too, honestly. But because here is the reality. There are millions of people who don't have access or easy access to banks, but they do have phones and an internet connection. Some people don't even have bank accounts, yet they're on Telegram or WhatsApp every single day. So imagine being able to send money to your family in a rural area just through a messaging app. Now, you don't have to drive to a money transfer office, you don't have to wait in line, you don't have to pay a big fee. You just send, or just hit send in fact, and that is it. Right? Now, small businesses could feel this impact too. I know a guy who runs a little online craft shop, and he has customers in different countries, and getting paid is always a bit of a hassle for him. Now, he's dealing with international bank transfers, PayPal fees, waiting a week for money to clear. If he could just, have customers open Telegram and send him XLM the same way that they'd send a message, well, he would get paid in seconds with no middle man. That's a game changer for a business that lives on razor-thin margins. Now, all of this makes me realize that this is about leveling the playing field. In places like Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia, mobile apps are already the main gateway to financial services, at least for a lot of people. Your phone is your bank, out of necessity there. So Telegram integrating 𝗕𝗪 basically supercharged that trend. It's like giving everyone with a cheap Android phone the power to do instant global transactions, something even many banks struggle with. Now, in my mind, that's a powerful equalizer. Now, to be fair, Telegram isn't the only app trying to mix chatting and money. WhatsApp, for instance, has tested payments, but only with regular money and only in a couple of countries like India and Brazil. WeChat in China is the classic example of a kind of chat app that also basically is your wallet, right? Your shopping app, your everything. But that's all within China's tightly regulated system. Even Signal, the kind of privacy messaging app, experimented with a crypto payment feature. They tried integrating a coin called 𝗕𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗧𝗏, but that didn't really take off. I bet most people never even heard about it, right? Now, what's different here is that Telegram is going all in on this crypto thing, and they're doing it fast. It's kind of like they looked at what everyone else was, timidly trying and said, hold my beer, I've got this, right? Just last month, Telegram expanded a crypto feature to a huge chunk of its users. They rolled out something called the TON wallet to about 87 million users in the United States. That gave those people access to all kinds of crypto stuff right inside Telegram. Now, I'm talking decentralized finance apps, the ability to buy things with stablecoins, even on-ramps and off-ramps for Tether that don't charge any fees. Essentially, 87 million Americans suddenly found a crypto wallet button in their Telegram app one day and could start playing with it. That's bold, right? And now, on top of that, they add 𝗕𝗪 XLM support globally. It's pretty clear that Telegram has big plans here. Now, they're trying to become what people would call a crypto super app, like the WeChat, but of the rest of the world, but with crypto built in at the very core. Now, WeChat's model is everything in one app: chat, play, pay, order food, you name it. But Telegram is doing its own little spin. Chat and crypto is seamlessly woven in, right? I actually find that rather exciting. But let's talk a little bit about 𝗕𝗪 itself, because I was curious why Telegram chose XLM. 𝗕𝗪's whole mission from day one has been to make global payments easier and cheaper, right? It was co-founded by 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 to create an open network for moving money. The idea is that if Bitcoin is digital gold, 𝗕𝗪 is more like a digital dollar or a digital kind of payment system. It's built to handle a ton of transactions quickly and for practically no cost. The trade-off is that it's not super flashy. You don't hear about 𝗕𝗪 as much as, let's say, Ethereum or Dogecoin or XRP in the news. It's more like it's a quiet workhorse of crypto payments. And to be honest, 𝗕𝗪 hasn't yet reached that kind of holy grail of mass adoption. Plenty of people still haven't even heard of it or used it, but integrations like the one with Telegram can change that. Suddenly, 𝗕𝗪 is put in front of 100 million new eyes, and maybe a lot of them will use it, without even realizing it's 𝗕𝗪 under the hood. That's a big step forward and towards mainstream use. Now, So, I should say, here I am, a day after this little experiment, and I'm still kind of buzzing. I even hopped into our free educational Discord server to gush about it. And let me tell you, the conversation there blew up. We've got people in the Discord from all over the world, and they started sharing what this could mean for them. One member from Nigeria was talking about how people in his community already use mobile minutes as currency sometimes, or mobile money apps, because the banking system just isn't great for everyday people. Now, he was like, if Telegram lets you use crypto like this, it could really catch on here, because almost everyone uses Telegram or WhatsApp. On another kind of person from Latin America chimed in with how high inflation is where they actually live, and how being able to switch over to a crypto or a stablecoin through a Telegram actually could help them protect their savings. It was a real eye-opening chat. Now, if you're not in the Discord, you should join and see all of these stories. It's pretty inspiring stuff. So by this point, I'm thinking, okay, Telegram and Stellar are doing something huge right under everyone's noses. But what else is actually going on behind the scenes? So I did a little late night digging, and it turns out that there's been a flurry of Stellar-related news that's also kind of a big deal. So for instance, the United Nations has this initiative that's called the SDG Blockchain Accelerator, which is all about using blockchain to help achieve sustainable development goals. And guess who just teamed up with them? The Stellar Development Foundation. Now, along, of course, with a group called flock.io, they're actually planning a series of hackathons around the world from August all the way through September this year. The goal is to find blockchain solutions for things like reducing poverty, improving financial inclusion, and all good humanitarian stuff. Now, Stellar being involved in that tells me that big players see it as a legit tool for solving real-world problems, not just crypto trading. On top of that, the Stellar Development Foundation made an investment in a company called 𝗕𝗪𝗪 recently, right? And 𝗕𝗪𝗪 is a UK-regulated digital asset exchange. You might be thinking, why does that even matter? Well, 𝗕𝗪𝗪 is into tokenizing real-world assets, things like stocks, bonds, real estate, and turning them into tokens that can be traded on a blockchain. SDF investing in them is strategic. They want more of those real-world assets on Stellar. So imagine in the future, right, you could be sending not just XLM or some crypto tokens through Telegram, but maybe a token that represents ownership in a stock or a piece of real estate, all with the same ease as sending a message. Now, if you've been on Telegram before, you know that it is rife with scammers and bots. They say 100 million users, but let's face it, the majority of them are just scammers and bots. So this is a bit of caution that I want to put out there. I don't personally like Telegram. I don't use Telegram all that much for crypto-related things because I think the risks are way too high. So, a word of warning, if you're going to be dealing with real-world asset tokenization, Telegram probably isn't the best place to be interacting with them. Just my 2 cents on it. You can let me know yours in the comments down below. But let's face it, how many scammers have reached out to you? Just an FYI, Cheeky Crypto, we're not on Telegram, but I bet that Cheeky Crypto has reached out to dozens of you guys watching over there. All of them are scammers. All of them are bots, and they're all trying to part you with your hard-earned money. Telegram isn't for me. It isn't for our community. So if you use it with caution. Anyway, back to the message here, that we're not actually there yet, but that's the direction that things are heading in, and Stellar seems to be positioning itself for that future. Caution and risk aside, clearly. And if that wasn't enough cross-chain kind of geekery, then you should probably get this. Stellar recently became compatible with something called Near Protocol's intents. Now, in plain English, this development lets you swap assets from over 20 different blockchains into Stellar's versions of USD without needing sketchy third-party bridges or multi-step processes. That is huge for interoperability. It means that Stellar isn't trying to exist in its own little bubble anymore. It's actually connecting out to other networks. So if you have, let's say, Ethereum or some token on another chain, you could convert it straight into Stellar's network pretty easily. The easier that gets, the less that it actually matters which blockchain you're on. Now, you can use whatever network offers you the feature that you need at that moment, like fast, cheap payments on Stellar, and then move the value around seamlessly. It's kind of like all of these separate islands in crypto are starting to build bridges between each other, and Stellar's building some of these, at least some of those bridges now. Now, I should say, with all of these positive developments, you'd probably think that, Stellar's price would be shooting to the moon, right? Well, funny enough, not really. Crypto markets have a mind of their own. They actually run rather differently to the fundamentals. Fundamentals need to be strong, of course, for bringing in like the mass adoption, but that does not actually guarantee that the price is going to move, because the price moves on the demand and the supply, and an imbalance between them, right? More demand than the supply can handle, price goes up. And if there's more supply than the demand can handle, well, price goes down. Right? And so it's important to understand the mechanics here of what drives price, because price drives the market cap and all that kind of good stuff. So without going down that rabbit hole again, you can join the Discord to learn more about all of those mechanics if you want. So it hasn't really been moving. Crypto markets, they don't really have a mind of their own. They're just running really off of speculation. So in the past week or so, XLM's price has actually kind of pulled back a bit in line with the rest of the crypto market. It's kind of hovering around 38 cents at the point of recording this video today. It's not bad, but it's not a giant pump or anything like that. Now, some people expected the Telegram news to kind of give it a big boost, right? And maybe it did briefly, but overall the market is just doing its thing, as people are a bit worried that the market's going to have a bit of a pullback, and so there's been some selling pressure after a bit of a run to the upside. Sometimes it's up and sometimes it is down, as they say. With all that said though, the analysts are still pretty bullish, at least looking forward. I saw some analysis saying that if XLM can hold certain support levels through September, then we might actually be on the cusp of bringing it back into the 50 cents to 55 cent ranges. Others have seen even bigger visions. There's a crypto analyst that I follow, Ali Martinez, who said, quote unquote, Stellar's XLM still needs one more dip before the breakout towards $1. Basically, he thinks the price might drop one more time, and then if it bounces, it could run towards at least $1. Now, $1 per XLM would be a pretty huge deal. I mean, XLM hasn't seen those levels in a rather long time. Now, hearing stuff like that makes it easy to kind of get carried away. I'll admit, part of me was like, oh, should I buy more XLM now that I can use it so easily? Or at least on Telegram. But then I gave myself a reality check, and actually, let me give you a reality check too. Now, this might shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Alright, we had to say that because it's true, and as cool as all this stuff is, it's not a sign to go all in on any coin without thinking about it. Now, the way that I see it is the real story here isn't XLM to $1 when moon kind of thing. The real story is how technology is quietly making our lives easier and maybe even more fair. Now, after doing all of this research and literally sending money through a chat app, I'm sitting here kind of in awe. Right? Like, I've been into crypto for many years, and I've gotten to used to hearing promises of this will change the world without actually seeing it happen in everyday life. But this time I saw a glimpse of it. It was just $5 to a friend, but it felt like so much more because of what it represented. It was like watching the future sneak into my regular day without any fanfare. One minute I'm sharing memes, the next minute I'm moving money internationally in seconds for free with a couple of taps. Now, it made me realize that the line between our social lives and our financial lives are actually blurring. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's not, because sending money should be as easy as sending a message, but it also needs to have the right parameters and checks in place as well. Otherwise, people are going to start losing significant sums of money to these scammy little bastards. So, very important to make sure you always do due diligence and do not send money to anybody who you do not know personally. There's a lot of friendship scams out there as well, so be super cautious. So why should it be anything different, right? Everything is moving in this kind of ease of use, but we should also be cautious with it. So why should anyone have to pay 10% in fees or wait a week to send their money, to someone, right? It shouldn't, right? It is, chaotic when you really think about it, right? You shouldn't have to do that, but you also do need to have some kind of compliance checks in place, some kind of KYC parameters, account by account basis. There has to be more to this than just tap, tap, sent, done. That would be disastrous for many. Now, of course, all of this is still new. We have to see how it all plays out, right? There's plenty of questions that I have. Plenty have popped into my mind, like security. I've mentioned it a couple of times. How safe is it to really hold crypto in a Telegram wallet? I'm not convinced. I don't think that's a good idea. I always go with hardware wallets. We like Ledger. There's usually a link directly to Ledger in the description down below, because even those, that company, the Ledger hardware wallets, there are fake ones out there, right? So you can't buy them from Amazon. You can't buy them from eBay. You have to buy them directly from the manufacturer. I would never have a Telegram wallet app. That to me seems bonkers, right? I would never have it, a crypto wallet on a platform that is rife with scammers. There are probably more scammers than there are actual users of Telegram. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but that's how it feels when you join Telegram. It's just full of absolute shit. But again, just my opinion. You can let me know yours in the comments down below. Now, how safe is it really to hold crypto in a Telegram wallet? Telegram is pretty secure as a messaging app, but if someone's Telegram account gets hijacked, which happens all the time, does that really mean that their crypto could be at risk? There's a whole regulatory angle here as well. Governments and banks might not be thrilled about people, bypassing traditional channels, or KYC and money laundering and all of those kind of checks that have to happen. Now, I'm not saying that it's a utopia already, right? There will be challenges. Hell, I can think of dozens of them of reasons why this guy won't be doing it, and why maybe even a pushback as this kind of even grows, because I can see stories brewing already. People losing hundreds of thousands of dollars of crypto through Telegram. I can see it happening, right? We see scams happen all the time on lots of different platforms. Telegram won't be any different. If they make it super easy, I guarantee it that the scammers are going to go there more than they already are, and it is rife at the minute. But the genie, I guess, is out of the bottle here. The convenience is there, and once people experience it, it's going to be hard to put that back in the bottle. I mean, after I did the Telegram transfer the once, I kind of want all of my apps to have the feature, right? I would like it to be that easy, but on a more secure basis. Why can't Wise? Why can't, Revolut? Why can't my, Santander, my Barclays, my Nationwide, my normal traditional banks have this convenience? Why does it have to come from something as risky as Telegram? It is what it is, right? I guess it's one of those things where time is going to change and things are going to adapt as we kind of go. But I'm also aware that not everyone will jump on this instantly, and that's a good thing, because people will wait to see how it all plays out, wait for other people to become victims so that they can see all the kind of pitfalls and all of that kind of stuff, right? Caution is kind of my terminology here. Some people are going to be, very hesitant, like myself, or they just won't know the feature exists until it slaps them in the face, maybe, right? And it's not like everyone on Telegram has hundreds of millions of users, is suddenly going to become an XLM user tomorrow. That's not going to happen either. But they've opened the door. Even if a small percentage will start using it, it could be tens of millions of new crypto users that are potentially going to fall victim to scams. So caution, caution, caution. I know it's the big takeaway. In fact, what is my big takeaway from this whole little adventure? be cautious with this kind of feature. Be cautious holding crypto on a Telegram wallet, right? Honestly, it is rather interesting, right? So if we think about this, that it's sometimes the future arrives quietly, not a big announcement that the kind of revolution is there, just a kind of casual update in an app, a random tweet announcing, hey, we support XLM now. And boom, 100 million people, 100 million people, we know there's not really that many on Telegram, right? But 100 million people apparently get access to this new financial tool overnight. And it really kind of snuck up on me, right? I follow this stuff relatively closely. It makes me wonder what else might be in store with Telegram in the future. I'm super cautious, interested to follow the story, but I think that this is one of those things where you have to watch from afar, don't get involved right away, because I see this thing ending badly for many people. Now you can of course let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments down below, or join us in the free Discord server and you can share your thoughts on it. But there's reasons why we abandoned Telegram back in 2021. Reason that we don't use Telegram outside of talking to project teams on there. We just don't, right? A lot of the communities are just bot communities. They're all just there to try to fake the engagement. It's not ethically something that I can support. So be really cautious with it. It's interesting that Stellar's had this partnership. On the face of it, the big numbers, they shout big PR things, right? 100 million users. We know that's all fake anyway. The Telegram wallet, super cautious with that. Anything that is that rife with scamming activity, you don't want your crypto there, in my opinion. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments down below or in the Discord. If you found this useful and informative, smash the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you all in the next one.